Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We live in this crazy era of near total satellite mapping, where it honestly feels like we have the entire world in high definition right at our fingertips. But what if our digital maps are actually hiding things on purpose? Today, we're diving into Terra Incognita, the censored secrets of Google Earth. We're going to explore the bizarre mysteries scattered all across our planet that someone, somewhere, absolutely does not want you to see. So, tell me, have you ever just zoomed into a random location on Google Earth only to hit a giant blur right in the middle of nowhere? Maybe it's a completely obscured island, or a heavily pixelated building, or honestly, just this messy patch of digital fog. It totally shatters that illusion of total visibility, doesn't it? I mean, we all kind of just assume that cameras up in the sky see everything, but the truth is actually far more restricted. Chapter 1: The Illusion of Visibility. Millions of us rely on satellite maps every single day. We use them to check out ancient ruins, explore remote deserts, or, let's be real, just look at our own houses from above. But if you start looking closely at the edges of the map, you're gonna find these weird smudges, strange geometric patterns, and completely missing sections. These deliberate distortions completely defy the whole idea of unrestricted satellite vision. Instead of those crisp, high-res images we expect, we're given this calculated digital fog. Chapter 2: Famous Blank Spots on Earth. Let's think about two incredibly famous yet wildly different isolated places. On one hand, you've got Area 51, hidden deep inside the dry valleys of the Nevada desert. If you look at it, satellite images show these long runways and restricted zones, sure, but the really crucial details, totally obscured. And that's exactly what fuels decades of rumors. Then, on the flip side, you have the Svalbard Global Seed Vault, tucked way up deep in the frozen Arctic. Now, its purpose is entirely public, literally protecting humanity's future by preserving global seeds, yet its extreme isolation invites just as much wild speculation. Both of these places rely on being completely cut off, and they both command our endless fascination for the exact same reason. They are incredibly hard to actually observe. But it's not just the famous spots. There are these everyday disappearing installations all over the map. We're talking nuclear facilities, intelligence centers, military bases, places where governments literally ask mapping companies to just blur them out or drop the resolution. But here's the funny paradox about that. When a government intentionally blurs a location to hide it, that censorship basically acts like a giant neon arrow pointing right at the sensitive site. The attempt to hide the place usually ends up attracting way more attention than if they had just left it alone in the first place. And hey, censorship isn't strictly a military thing either. Take North Sentinel Island, over in the Indian Ocean. It's home to one of the absolute last uncontacted tribes on Earth. If you try to look at it, satellites only capture these sandy shores and this ridiculously thick, impenetrable forest canopy. It's a true mystery, totally protected by both dense natural camouflage and super strict legal prohibitions that keep all outsiders away. Chapter 3: Digital Glitches or Hidden Secrets. Okay, so Google Earth is essentially this massive global puzzle stitched together from millions of different satellite photos. And sometimes, well, the pieces just don't fit perfectly. We call these image stitching errors. They're digital mistakes that create some completely bizarre visual anomalies. I'm sure you've seen them online. Cars stretched out like rubber bands, buildings looking like they're literally melting into the street, or ships somehow hovering hundreds of feet above the ocean. These are the kinds of glitches that just go viral instantly. Now, naturally, these digital anomalies spark massive internet conspiracies, but they're actually surprisingly easy to dismantle once you look at the facts. See those giant geometric lines in remote deserts? Usually that's just military targets, unique agricultural patterns, or even mining operations. What about those mysterious pyramids people always find in Antarctica? Scientists have confirmed they are literally just natural geological features shaped by ice and rock over time. And those massive underwater cities found on the ocean floor? Yeah, almost always just the result of incomplete sonar data or basic mapping errors. No ancient civilizations required. Chapter 4: Why are places censored? So, how do they actually pull this off? Governments and mapping companies use a very specific toolbox to hide locations. First up, physical camouflage techniques that are literally designed to confuse satellite lenses. Second, you have strict local laws that outright forbid imaging things like royal residences or intelligence headquarters. Third, and this one's pretty clever, they'll use outdated imagery. They'll show you a base exactly as it looked, say, 10 years ago to totally hide present-day operations. And finally, undisclosed national security agreements. Honestly, the exact process of how a country gets a site blurred is very often a top-secret thing in itself. All of this leads us to a massive, really thought-provoking question. How much of our world is truly visible? Think about it. We have these modern satellites capturing incredibly detailed images. We have AI that can analyze landscapes and track structural changes with absolutely pinpoint accuracy. Yet, despite all of this unprecedented observation technology, these hidden places, these blurs, these completely outdated maps, they still endure. It really makes you wonder what we are actually allowed to see, doesn't it? Chapter 5: What Remains Undiscovered. Even with thousands of satellites circling us every single moment, the Earth still harbors massive unexplored frontiers. Did you know large sections of our ocean floors are actually less mapped than the surface of Mars? That's insane. There are massive underground cave systems stretching for hundreds of kilometers in total darkness. We've got remote jungles with canopies so thick they are literally still concealing lost cities from the sky. And, somewhere out there, ancient ruins are still waiting beneath shifting desert sands. I want to leave you with this incredibly powerful thought to wrap up today's explainer. Perhaps the greatest secret is not what Google Earth hides, but what humanity has yet to discover. We are explorers by nature, right? We naturally want to know what's behind that locked door, or underneath the ice, or hiding behind that blurry pixel on our screen. Technology allows us to observe more than any generation in human history. But every single smudge on the map and every unmapped ocean trench just reminds us how much of our home remains a total unknown. So the next time you open a map and start zooming across the planet, remember, Earth still knows exactly how to keep its secrets. Thanks so much for joining me today, and keep exploring.